our kindly assistance? Okay, we've got 10 minutes for that, so we'll take a few.
Did you have any inspiration from other VR experiences in building this? I thought of the Invisible Hours as you described it. I was wondering if any of you were familiar with that one.
I haven't played that one yet, but I think as far as being influenced by VR, definitely, because the game itself sort of spawned from the idea of virtual reality itself, and as the game was originally going to be a VR-only experience, that was sort of a key component to it, and a lot of the inspiration came not necessarily from other VR games, but it's from the idea of virtual reality.
Yeah, the medium itself.
The medium, and even beyond that, more abstractly, to sort of that idea of the simulation theory. And there's a classic book called Pygmalion Spectacles that's ultimately one of the first sort of written accounts of the idea of virtual reality. And so those sort of ideas were a huge influence into the game, without necessarily having other specific games that influenced the story or the gameplay.
Yeah, because we take our inspiration from everywhere, from books, and a great example, The House of Leaves, from series, from film, from other games, but something that was crucial for us is we want to do something new, something unique, and we don't want to do like, hey, this game is like this, let's do like that, or whatever. And it's the merge and the convergence of both of our expertise from the film and from the game aspect, and also the synergy between the team members, constantly exchanging about ideas and try to make something new. But no, definitely the inspiration came from everywhere possible. Yeah.
I think we were also, even from the design of the home, we were always trying to look for ways to see and visualize things we'd not seen before.
Yeah.
That was a huge guiding principle. I mean, the core of the thing is the narrative, and that was the most important. Who these characters are, what happened to this family, what is each character expressing and representing that we will ultimately feel. But even the design of the game, everything was trying to push the game in a direction that just felt as fresh as possible.
The art direction is not something you see usually
Right.
in a video game. You were talking about the environment. We wanted to break a little bit this type of building or houses that you see everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the neo-noir type of art direction.
It's even
also
got like a sort of Italian giallo with the colors.
And we had the concept of color of emotion, that each, by receiving these colors, it kind of could influence also the way you could feel, and we tried to use that as well.
Hey guys, when it comes to the idea of building and rebuilding memories, does the game address the possibility of rebuilding them incorrectly and possibly implanting false memories?
Ooh. That's an interesting thought. I mean, I don't know that it does or does not necessarily address that, but the idea of just uploading the consciousness, it definitely addresses the fact that things might not go right, that the corruption, maybe you're not getting a one-to-one consciousness replication. Those kind of ideas are sort of, we looked after all that kind of stuff when we went to craft the narrative, because one of the key components was to make sure that everything had some actual scientific basis. Every aspect of the science, even if some of it feels a bit on the fringe, like there's someone somewhere who's written a paper and has a study that is actually doing something.
Yeah, everything
like this.
everything in the story of the game theoretically could happen in the near future. Theoretically. Or has happened.
Terrifying. Chilling though that may be. Do we have additional questions? Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yes, hi. Christian here for Ubisoft Latin America. After having this really successful experience and work in the in the film industry, my doubt is which was the moment on which when you say, okay, you know what, I want to explore this other way of expression in video games. Do you have that moment, or it was like always from the point zero?
Well, I think that there was probably like, internal interests, as a gamer, as Kyle as a gamer for life, like, there's always been sort of somewhere in there a desire to be a part of the making of a game. But I think this particular venture happened really organically. There wasn't a conversation that we had at Spectrevision of let's jump into gaming. It happened because we met folks from Ubisoft. They heard we wanted to explore VR. They had sort of, they were making VR games as well. Could we come together? Is there something there? And the steps that we took were just based on mutual interest and maybe collaborating on something. So yeah, there wasn't kind of like an aha moment of, fuck, we really need to get into games. Although now that we've taken part in this really super challenging and fun and rewarding collaboration with this team who has been so wonderful, we'd certainly love to make more. It's not unlike other people that have been asked over the last couple of days, what's the difference between making films and games? There are certainly technical differences, but the ultimate approach is a group of people coming together around a core idea that they believe in and collaborating to make that the best possible thing that they can. We love that process from films, we know that from films, and this is in some ways not different in regards to the creative process. And that's what we love. We just enjoy banding together with creative people around really exciting, interesting ideas.
We've got time for maybe a couple more.
Hi, I'm Michael from Ubisoft Brazil. It's for you, Elijah. How does your experience in movies helps you in a gameplay situation? Could you give us an example?
What do you mean? So my experience in film help in the
gameplay situation.
Creating a game. Well, our experience in making films, from producing films, working with filmmakers, Daniel's experience as a writer, I think, is where we come with a certain understanding of narrative and character. Yeah, I think that would be it.
To turn it into a gameplay experience, this is where Ubisoft kicks in.
Yeah.
This was all our discussion, trying to figure out how to build a structure for this game to really convey these intentions for the narrative.
I think it's also it's starting with character, right? Is what I would sort of guesstimate is the big
we've been talking about Raymond for maybe 2 years now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think not to be critical, but it is somewhat critical, I guess, to say that like a lot of games, you kind of feel like the character stuff was sort of an afterthought that was put in to sort of service, like check a box.
Yeah, because the mechanic comes first.
Yeah. And for us, we didn't talk about any mechanic or anything until we had locked down the emotional dynamics, the characters, what they needed, what the themes of the story were, and then we started building outward from there. And so character and emotion were primary in the process, and I think that's I would guess the biggest difference in terms of what we brought to the party.
It's perfect.
On our side, it was really good to get this creative guidance. If we want this emotion to be felt, or we want to create a build-up or anticipation for this reason, in film we do it this way. We have a scene here, another scene here and here, then this is the tempo that we're supposed to get. And after that, on our side, like, okay, we could create this game moment here, here, and here. And it was really a genuine approach of how we converge our stuff. It was not like, this is how we make games, give us a script. Or the inverse, here's a script, make a game. So it was really a collaborative approach. And
I just want to add that I feel like during this production, we really had to build our own recipes. We had not much material to rely on regarding building a game structure that is so different.
Yeah, and in many ways, I think it follows the conventional screenplay structure as much as it does a game structure. I mean, it really does. It does ultimately play like a feature film, and it's structured like a feature film.
Do we have one more question?
Do any of you want to work with VR again, and what would make that decision for you?
Well, today we're here to talk about Transference, and we're just focusing on making the best experience possible for this fall. We'll talk about the future later.
But VR is awesome.
No
question.
I mean, I think the answer is like all of us want to participate in the creative process, and it doesn't necessarily matter what.
Any way to tell a story, and
Yeah.
VR is an awesome way to do that right now, and
Yeah.
probably will only get better. So.
Awesome. So I want to thank you all for joining us today,
Thanks,
everybody.
Gabe.
Thank you, guys.